Hey guys, welcome back to the Music Maverick channel. Maverick here with another episode of Pet. And yes, we continue on with our watch. And like I've said at the very end of last episode, things are getting a little bit more interesting, right? So far, 3 episodes in, every single episode has got a little plot twist or something that really just exceeded my expectations, wasn't something that I was expecting, and well, that's great, right? I like a series that can keep me on my toes and not fall into the same patterns, the cliche patterns and whatnot, so I can't really predict what's going to go on. That makes it much more interesting. So, at the end of last episode, it seems that Tsukasa is actually one of the people who is calling the shots, so he might be a much bigger member of the so-called company than we initially see, right? And of course, right now, they're talking about, I believe, what's he called again? Hayashi? Hayashi, yeah, Hayashi, who is also the one we saw in the very first episode, who initiated Satoru to the company as well, right? So, let's just see what exactly is going on, and maybe we can learn a little bit more about the company. Alrighty, I skipped the opening, although of course I listened to the whole thing because it's an awesome song. And let's just begin in the episode in 3, 2, 1, play. Alright, that's him at the left, right? Oh, and that's Satoru as well. So this is after the like hospital visit. Okay. Um, I guess they, yeah. Ah, that's Katsuraki. He actually looks pretty handsome while he was young. So he's now the so-called pet of this dude. Okay, okay. Present day, I guess. That was a flash. Ah, this is Hayashi. Hmm.
一日中テレビ見てるだけのようですね。
何にせよ、あのラーメン屋を調べるんだ。連絡係になってるかもしれない。林はあの男としか接触して
So I guess Hayashi betrayed the company.
ラーメン屋がいじられてたとして、今の林に何ができるんですかね。足がつくとも知らないで、口座からなけなしの全額引き落とすなんて。奴はもう袋の林ですよ。
だから
いやね、とっとと捕まえて始末した方が早いんじゃないかと思いましてね。
なるほどな。じゃあとっとと林を始末するか。
You do it.
そうしてお前はこう思うわけだよな。なんで林は日本にいたのかな。あいつが姿を消したのは北京だったよな。だからこっちは2年も大陸を探させてたってのに。そうしてある日突然お前は気づくわけだ。そういや林は悟のことを随分可愛がってたっけな。そうか、あいつ悟と連絡を取るために日本に戻ってきてたのかってな。なんでお前がそれに気づくと思う？その頃にはな、林と同じように悟にも逃げられてるからなんだよ。それがお前のパターンなんだよ、桂木。同じ失敗を繰り返さないためには何をしたらいいんだよ。林や悟に俺たちから逃げるつもりなのか聞いてみる。じゃあどうすればいいんだよ。
ラーメン屋を調べます。
だよな。だったらとっととラーメンでも注文しろよ。たく。もっともお前には
This guy's definitely one of the guys calling the shots.
気合だったんだからさ。あの人のことは俺の方がずっとよくわかってるんだ。
And Satoru, being the pet of Hayashi, is now also under suspicion.
退屈すぎるな。ひろきさん、どこで店やってんのかな。
ひろきの店に行きたいだ。ざけてんじゃねえよ。絶対ホテルから出るなよ、サトル。責任取らされんのは俺なんだからな。
だからってもう3日もゲームやってんだぜ。
いてて、くそ、腹が痛えよ。
いいか、サトル。会社の上の人間はな、俺たちのことが怖いんだ。
Okay, there we go.
だから絶対に直接会おうとはし
The
ない。
bosses are scared of them. Well, of course.
それに対しての予防策も考え
Unless the bosses also have these kinds of abilities.
山に誰も入れないのと同じにな。
何言ってんだよ、林さん。今自分の山に俺を入れてるじゃないか。
そうだな。お前は今、俺の記憶をいじれるし、潰すことだってできる。
なんで俺が。
じゃあな、ここからが問題だ。そんな会社のお偉いさんたちは、どうやって俺たちを管理してると。
Ah, yeah, that's what I've been wondering about.
だから見張りがついてるのか。
見張りだけじゃないぞ。この部屋にはな、耳だってちゃんとついてるんだ。だからわざわざここへ来て話してるんだよ。
いらしたんですか。お掃除後になさいますか。
いや、それよりちょっと腹が痛くて肩貸してもらえませんか。
大丈夫ですか。立てますか。
いてて。君ってオナニーするの？だから君ってお掃除するの？
ええ。掃除しに来たんです。
あ、なんか痛みが引いてきたみたいだ。手を離してくれる？
はい。
盗聴器ってどこにあるの？指さしてみて。
Oh.
やっぱりトイレまで肩貸してよ。
はい。
なんか調子悪いよな。用足したら寝るかな今日は。
だけどな、サトル。アリバイ作りには便利なんだ。耳は言い訳を聞いてくれるし、見張りは伝書鳩になってくる。
Damn, this is like some counter espionage shit here.
一つで思い通りに動いてくれる親切な人間のことだよ。作り方を教えてやろうか。
またさのおじちゃん。
そう。君はまたさのおじちゃんって聞くとすごく気分が楽になって何でも話したくなるんだ。
またさのおじちゃん。
じゃあさ、見張りがどこに何人いるか教えてくれる？
フロントとベルボーイと駐車場と。
Wow.
私の4人です。
This is really like a This company is definitely like Yakuza or something.
司さんとひろきさん。
金魚屋とか見張ってる仲間はいない？
ああ、熱帯魚屋なら一人行ってますね。
その熱帯魚屋ってどこ？
But still, is that enough to like cover them? They are people with special abilities. I find it hard to believe that just through that they're able to keep tabs on them.
丼を下げに来たんですけど。
ああ、いつもみたいにそこに。
文庫来券です。
いくらだ？
チャーシュー麺800円です。
ほらよ。
どうも。丼は外に出しておいてくださいね。
おい、釣りをよこせよ。
すいません。お釣り持ってくるのを忘れました。
なに？じゃあとっとと店に戻って持ってこいよ。
そんな。それならそこのタバコ屋で崩していきますよ。
ああ？
釣りぐらいやったらどうですか？はい。あ、どうも。その前に少し話をしてほしいんだ。そうしてくれないと代金も払えないからさ。
Man, this back and forth. I love this. It's sort of like watching a spy movie, except with supernatural powers, right?
ああ、あの人ね。いつもお釣りは取っとけって言ってくれるんですよ。いい人ですよ。
どこでももらえると思うなよ。
代金払えないからね。
でもあの人変わってるんですよね。
そっちはどうだ？林は部屋にいるんだろうな。
ええ、さっき丼を下げに来て部屋へ戻りましたよ。
俺はちょっと外へ出るから、なんかあったら知らせろよ。
He's using them against him.
やっと出てきましたね、桂木さん。あなたなら絶対に釣りをケチると思っていたんですよ。この2年、あなたが生きていてくれたことに感謝しますよ。何しろ、これはあなたがいなければ成り立たない計画なんですからね。
さあ、なんだよこの自販機は。おい、自販機に釣りが入ってねえぞ。
ああ、すみませんでした。タバコ。
そうだよ。釣りは100円玉で。
Super stingy, this dude.
相変わらず猫嫌い。
Ah.
お久しぶりです、桂木さん。
怪しい。
おかしいな。なんでシャッター閉まってるんだろう。定休日でしょ？今日アロワナ売ってくれるって言ってたもん。
いつ帰ってくるんだよ、つかさ。ひろきさん。どうも。どっから入ってきたんだよ。裏口から。今日は休みですか？店なんて全然儲からねえよ。グッピー2匹しか売れてねえよ。なんなら俺手伝いますよ。ほら、通行人ちょっといじればすぐ売れますって。だからそれじゃあ会社のやり方と一緒じゃねえかよ。何のために店やってると思ってんだ。司と二人でまっとうにやりたいからだろ。
Little did you know, Tsukasa
助けろよ早く。
is actually one of the main figures of the company.
這い出してきやがったんだよ。何の真似だよそりゃ。
いたずらっ子はおひげを切りますよ。
てめえ。
桂木さん、サトルの居場所を教えて。
Wow.
そうか。てめえ、わざと足がつくような真似を。だけどサトルには会えねえぜ。あいつは会社のやってる袋のホテルで見。
Ekibukuro. Okay.
てめえだってここから逃げられやしねえんだよ。
桂木さんの車を借りて逃げますよ。キーを貸してください。
キーだと俺が貸すとでも思ってるのか。
貸してくれますよね。
くそ。
来るんじゃなかったな。分かってんだ。俺が店やりたいって思ったのはケンチんとこにいた せいなんだ、どうせ。
少しはまっとうな感じになるよな。
ケンジの気持ちとごっちゃになってんだ。俺って鍵が緩いんだよな。
Huh.
どういうことですか？
司が言うには、俺の金魚は司の水よりもずっと速くてタフだから、それだけシンクロ能力が高くないと使いこなせないんだ。
So he's syncing with the other people's feelings. Okay.
なるのかもって。俺、ここんとこ泳ぐの速くなったから、その後の情緒不安定もひどくなってるんだ。
鍵が緩いなんて、そんなことあるんですか？
サトルはいいよな。ドアなんだろ。開けりゃつくなんて便利なイメージ使いやがってよ。
いや、それがよく故障して開かなくなるんですよね。
つうかサトルさ、年上のくせになんで敬語なんだよ。ムカつくんだよなんか。
あ、すいません。
問題は俺がこうなること知ってるくせに司が仕事に行っちゃったってことなんだよ。司が水だったから俺は金魚になったのに、司が俺に山を分けたから俺はこうしてここにいるのに、司は俺を置いてっちゃいけないんだよ。
あのさ、司さんは誰から山を分けてもらったのかな？
知るかよ。司は昔のこと喋りたがらないんだよ。
Hmm.
いや、つまりさ、司さんだって自分に山を分けてくれた人とは離れてるわけだよね。俺だって林さんと10年以上も一緒に暮らしてたのに、ずっと会えてないよ。会社の極秘の仕事についてるからってもう2年も音信不通なんだ。
そんなにかよ。よく平気だな。
全然平気じゃないよ。気分変えて、金髪にしたりピアス入れたり。
Oh, so that's why you look like that right now.
だけど林さんも今頃一人で仕事してんだなと思って、俺もおとなしく働いてんだ。待つ以外ないしね。
八つ当たりして悪かったな。俺も司が帰ってくるのをおとなしく待つよ。
あのさ、ここ暗いしさ、気分転換に出かける？あ、向かいのピザ屋は伝書バトにしてきたから大丈夫。
ピザ屋が伝書バト？
あれ、知らない？ほら、伝書バトって自分が情報を伝えてるなんて分かってないだろ。その人間版なんだ。キーワードを使って催眠をかけて作るんだよ。キーワードを聞かない限り自分が何喋ったか思い出せないから、普通の催眠術と違って桂木さんに調べられても大丈夫なんだ。
だからなんで桂木がピザ屋を調べんだよ。
おお、ここの見張りは向かいのピザ屋だって。俺んとこの見張りが。
見張りってなんだよ。
会社の方針なんだよ、ヒロキ。そうやって怒るから言いたくなかったんだ。見張りなんか放っておけばいいだろ。俺だって早く帰りたいよ。うん、メールする。じゃあね。
キーってのはこれか？その程度の勢いで俺が引っかかるとでも思ったのかよ。おっと、少しでも口が開いたら鉛をぶち込むからな。てめえが悟とまだ連絡取れてないんなら、もう何の遠慮もなく穴だらけにしてやれるぜ。
ほらほら、いたずらっ子、お家に入ってな。
目障りなんだよ、うせろババア。
ああ、
おかえり、ただし。
Ooh.
おかえり、ただし。おかえり。
What?
ママ、ただいま。ただいま。
Oh, he likes to play with dolls?
ただいま、ママ。
ただしがまた私のお人形を触ってる。
The mistress's child. Okay. So he also definitely has an inferiority complex as well.
のうちでお人形さんごっこするといいよ。その代わり誰にも言っちゃいけないよ。絶対に秘密だよ。
大丈夫よ、ただし。秘密はみんなこの箱に入れてしまっておく。
Is that a USB? Yeah.
見つからないところへ隠しておくのよ。またさのおじちゃんが取りに来るまで。
またそのおじちゃん。
Mr. Matassa.
またさのおじちゃんっていうのはね。
秘密を
Oh, so Sataru is actually using the same safe word as Yashi.
何やってんだカツラギのやつ。そういや、どうしてヒロキは見張りに気づいたんだ。
メールの返事来ねえな。
Is he going to tell?
蝶だ。いつ入ってきたんだ。
蝶、どこに。
出してやるか。仕方ねえ。ほらほら、行けって。
对面店开了，那会就有要回去了。
那我们赶紧走吧，下大雨演的肯定要来，叫醒觉训员的。
Hmm.
小巨鱼，
はい、もしもし、ご注文。
They're speaking Chinese.
どうしてお前がそこにいるんだ。あれ、つかさ、久しぶりだな。元気か。サトルが脱走したからついてきたんだよ。
司なの？
まずいんじゃないの。
Oh, wow.
首輪の外し方知ってちゃうさ。
So they're actually right on
何よそれ。
Sataru. Okay. Now things are getting serious. Wow. Man, this is really, really interesting. Alright, see you guys after this. Okay, so 4 episodes in a row, Pet has managed to get something very compelling, very unexpected out of all of this, and really, it's still, I mean, even now, 4 episodes in, I still think it's a very underrated series of this season. But before that, let's talk a little bit about what happened this episode, right? So, particularly at the very end there, it's obvious that Tsukasa and Hiyashi have some sort of different relationship. I was actually wondering if perhaps Tsukasa is actually one of Hiyashi's pets as well, because I guess nobody ever said you can only have one pet, or perhaps he might be his son or something like that, right? Because we saw in from Hiyashi that the guy, what he was seeing and Tsukasa being there, it seemed to be like a younger version of himself. So I don't know, perhaps it's possible that and also seeing Tsukasa's face being all flushed there, I don't know. They definitely, it's definitely much more of a relationship than just Tsukasa maybe being one of the big or one of the high level guys within the company and trying to eliminate Hiyashi, right? But who knows? We'll see by the beginning of next episode. But I mean, right now it seems that things are fairly straightforward as of right now. We can probably tell that Hiyashi probably wants out of the company. He wants out of this life, so he's betrayed the company. And the cover story that he told Satoru, and probably the company told Satoru, is that he's on some top secret mission for the company, something like that. And so that is why things aren't going haywire, right? But in actuality, he's probably gone rogue, and so that's why the company is also trying to hunt him down as well. Or I guess it could also have been like sort of a faction, a faction infighting, something like that. But I think it's more reasonable to assume that they just want to leave the company. Right. And really, with this whole episode, I was really getting a kick out of this because it's essentially all the different stuff that you would get from, spy thrillers, stuff dealing with espionage, spy films, those kind of stuff, except it adds a layer of, being able to manipulate people's memories, manipulate their actions in a sense, right? You got the same kind of thing. You're still using misinformation, you're using misdirection, you're giving your opponent information that you actually want them to have, things such as that, things such as drop-off points, such as keywords, so on and so forth, right? So I really, really enjoyed this concept, except just adding this supernatural twist to it. And still utilizing all these different tricks of the trade in order to to have secret rendezvous, to pass on secret information, so on and so forth, right? What we can definitely see here is that Hiyoshi is trying to get that USB file over to Satoru. That's why they use the same sort of keyword, I guess you could say. And yeah, that's basically it, right? Except now he's been found out by Tsukasa, so don't really know what's going to happen to him. Is he going to maybe get killed or something? Don't really know. And it's kind of funny to see how Hiroki is actually so naive to the entire situation. But I mean, he is the pet of one of the main guys of the company, right? I think by this point it should be very clear that Tsukasa is just not your run-of-the-mill, enforcer or crusher, or however they want to call them, like employee of the company. He's probably a pretty damn high-ranking member here. And however, the thing that really strikes me is how it's clear that the company is afraid of these ability users, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't need to have this many lookouts, this many people to try to put surveillance on them, so on and so forth. And this ties into what I was saying a few episodes before as well. If they are really this powerful that they defy a lot of the normal rules and conventions of the reality as we know it, why are they still willing to listen to the company, right? There has to be some other reason. Like, even with these lookouts and whatnot, I don't think that's enough. We saw how Satoru was able to very easily just, shake off his observers and whatnot. Although, in the end, he was being tailed by some other ability users, who are apparently Chinese in origin, something like that. Don't really know. But in any case, I think in order to control them, the company definitely needs to have some people who are also, ability users, but without a doubt loyal to the company, right? For instance, someone like Tsukasa, and probably one of the main bosses would also be an ability user as well. I just don't see a scenario where it could all be normal people at the top, but then controlling a bunch of ability users. I don't think that really works. If like just 2 or 3 of them revolt, they're gonna have a tough time on their hands. So, no, or maybe the entire sort of pet master, if you can call it master, sort of relationship was also used to sort of keep people in check. So it could be a case where one of the founding members of the company was actually an ability user, and so he creates a pet. The pet would be entirely loyal to him, and so this chain goes on, so on and so forth. And so because they're all loyal to the company, loyal to the code, then they won't have any rogue people, right? I think it might also be a case of that, but there definitely has to be something else beyond just constant surveillance that's keeping them in check. Well, one last thing I like to say is in regards to the very last scene where we saw, within Hiroki's shop, within the aquarium shop, we saw butterflies flying, right? And butterflies are a very specific thing from Hiyashi. So perhaps this is his method of already, sending a message to Satoru or something like that. Don't really know, but definitely, that imagery, that butterfly isn't just in there for no reason at all, right? What purpose it actually serves, don't really know. What we can know is that Hiroki is in deep trouble because he's been found out by Tsukasa, and Satoru is also in trouble because it's been found that he's been manipulating the observers. And probably to an extent Hiroki as well, because now he also has this knowledge. And for these kinds of authoritarian organizations and whatnot, this kind of knowledge is deadly. It could get them killed. But I am really looking forward to see how they are going to continue with this story. I mean, it's brilliant. I still don't like the artwork at all. Some scenes are still kind of weird for me. The way that they draw the expressions and whatnot, kind of iffy on that. But I definitely do enjoy the fact that this is a smart anime. Let's put it this way. And something that actually keeps me on my toes, and I don't really know what to expect next, but at the same time, it's fairly consistent in its logic and the way that it structures its stories. So, good on them. Anyways, I am catching up to the current episode. I believe episode 5 actually dropped today. I'll find some time to, maybe in the next few days, catch up to the actual episode, and then we can actually review and watch the series in real time in the upcoming weeks, right? So, I'll see you guys then, and until then, bye bye.